Yo guys, what is going on? JPS back for another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Ghan, which is the world's longest sleeper train. And this is coming from a travel channel. I haven't seen any of their videos yet. This will be the first video we're checking out. There's also the Indian Pacific, which I've taken a look at, which is also a really long train that runs through Australia. So lots of different options, and this is a practical video to react to because I do plan on visiting Australia sometime in the near future. And if I want to visit multiple cities on different sides of Australia, there has to be some thought that goes into the transportation there. And train's certainly an option. So we're going to be taking a look at it. Maybe not first class, but it'll make for an interesting video to watch. So guys, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and let's get right into it.
Today, I'm riding this luxury sleeper train for 2 days across the Australian desert. I've booked the best first class suite on board, with a double bed, shower and private lounge. Of course there's fine dining and unlimited champagne. We'll also take a look at the other cabins on board, the world's longest overnight train. This is the Ghan.
Yeah, those other cabins is where I need to look, so we'll do that too, but yeah. This looks like a great video so far.
So let's pick up my story at 10 AM in sunny Adelaide, where I've just been collected by the Ghan's private transfer service. Well, good day and welcome back to the channel. You join me today at Adelaide Parklands Terminal, where we're going to be catching the Ghan. As you'll have gathered by now, this is no ordinary train. I'm in the best class of travel, otherwise known as Platinum Class. After a brief wait, my luggage is tagged and taken away. Next, I'm presented with my tickets in the form of a lanyard. With the formalities out of the way, it's time to relax in the departure lounge. This is just for those travelling on the Ghan, which, as you can see, is a lot of people. Let's start this trip off properly then. In seemingly no time at all, we're warmly welcomed by the Ghan team and requested to board at our leisure. There's certainly no danger of you getting on the wrong train here. Now we're on platform 1, however down to the scale of this mammoth train, boarding is over 2 platforms. I'm informed that my platinum carriage is on platform 2, so let's hotfoot it over there via the underpass. Here we go then, platform 2. So without any further ado, let's start this first class indulgence. Well, it is a welcome on board Australia's most luxurious train. Let's get settled in and then I'll give you a full room tour in just a second. It's good to see my bag has indeed made it. Do know, if you're in one of the other classes, you need to take your own bag on board, God forbid. I'm promptly offered a delicious chilled glass of Bollinger, and I'm informed that this, like all the other food and beverages on board, is unlimited. As I sip away, the second half of the train begins to shift into place, ready for departure.
On behalf of the crew, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you on board today's journey.
Our journey, which will take us to the heart of Australia, through some of the world's harshest and unforgiving terrain, arriving on day 2 some 1,000 miles away at Alice Springs in the Northern Territory.
Bro, the views throughout this train ride are going to be crazy. Oh my god.
The train recoupled as one. It's time to make a move on a setup now comparable to the fictional Snowpiercer. Well, not quite 1,000 cars long, but we're now moving at over 1,000 meters in length, which incidentally makes this the longest passenger train in the world. Truly mind-blowing. Time to take things a little slower, as I learn more about the history of the Ghan, which first started service in 1929, and whilst the route extends north now to Darwin, we'll be retracing the original journey.
How did they build
Shortly
this?
thereafter,
How did they put the
some
tracks
salted
down?
cashews, and of course a Bollinger top-up. So we've been going now around 20 minutes and we've reached our first signal stop, but I think most of you would be interested to see around this room and what it's like. This room will be made up into a bed a little bit later on when I go for dinner, but for the moment let's see what it's like in the day setting. So as far as luxury train cabins go, this is middle of the road. It's not as roomy as say the Andean Explorer or Orient Express, but it's ample space for a 2-day journey like this. It's of course optimised for 2 people, but with Millie all the way back in England, I've got it all to myself. To the right, you have a variety of controls for your room, from the lights, radio channels, and get this, a more champagne button. You also get this small table where there's some information on your itinerary and dining times. Of course, I'm keen to unpack. Let's see what the in-room storage situation is like. So here's my wardrobe with a collection of hangers to stow just the few items of smart attire that I own. There is actually a dress code on board, though not enforced. I do like to make a tiny effort sometimes. To make it more private in here, I'll shut the blinds adjacent to the corridor. It's done so you can look out from both sides. However, you'll also be exposed to other passengers. We'll keep that closed for now and instead enjoy the show from the other huge window as we continue further out into the wilderness. You'll be glad to know you do get a small ensuite shower room, and of course later on, as usual, you'll be able to laugh at my attempts to shower on board. The Ghan utilises hotel-style room keys, which I love, as this allows you to keep your room locked and secure once off at dinner or on an excursion. Talking of food, I make it lunchtime. As this is such a huge train, there are multiple dining cars dotted every few cars apart. The dining carriage is stunning, with a modern calming colour palette utilised. Seating is laid out for either 2 or 4 passengers to enjoy together. Being a solo traveller today, I'm shown to a 4-person table. It looks like I'll have some new friends to join me for lunch. Now, it's always part of the fun with trains like these, but of course not for the introverts.
Yeah. Wow, bro, this is a crazy
Not
train.
bad for the first lunch on board, I'd say. There's also an extensive drinks menu, which, as with everything else, is inclusive. To keep it real though, there's only one lunch bev of choice for me. A refreshing DC, of course. As 2 other passengers join me, we're served some pumpkin bread as the scenery outside begins to get progressively more sparse. For main, I opt for the roasted chicken, served on a pumpkin puree with steamed greens. The chicken was juicy and the flavours complemented each other very well, though I do feel that the serving is a little on the small side. Now we're back on track, a beautifully rich chocolate mousse with contrasting mandarin served with a sharp raspberry sorbet. Fantastic. To close, I'm in desperate need of a caffeine hit to drown that jet lag I'm suffering from. I'm pleased to find there's a proper espresso machine on board, and what's more, Aussies do a mean coffee. None of that Amtrak filter nonsense. With lunch out of the way, let's walk up train and explore some of the other classes on board. It is of course quite a walk, but I eventually get there, signified by the gold class branding. First up is their lounge car, dubbed the Explorer Lounge. Later on when we explore the Platinum Lounge, you'll notice there's quite a difference between the two. Next up is the Gold Class restaurant, which is rather dated in comparison to where I've just had lunch, although it's still a lovely place to be. Okay, what about sleeping quarters? First up is the more expensive Gold Class Twin. These are modest sized rooms, and as they say on the tin, they sleep 2 in bunk beds, and there's even an ensuite shower room. Further down train though, to the tail, we find what's known as Gold Single. These have actually just recently been refurbished, and I think offer a great use of the limited space available. By night, they transform into a comfy single bed. Remember, these are not en suite, so a shared toilet and shower room are located in each carriage. Anyway, if you want a detailed walkthrough of these facilities, do check out my Indian Pacific video afterwards, where I travel in both of these classes over 4 days. Now let's head back up train to first class.
That would be, it'd be similar to like a plane ride, honestly. That little small room with the bed. I guess some of these places that you're getting to with this train aren't accessible via plane, and they may be much cheaper too than a plane ride, which is why people do it, I guess, unless you're like the rich people in first class.
One eternity later.
Finally back at my suite, I think it's time to boot off my shoes and settle in for an afternoon chill, or well, nap. There's something very relaxing listening to music being calmed by the gentle rocking of the train as we continue further into the outback. Did you know there are some trains so luxurious you have to apply just to purchase a ticket? Or luxury flights, for example, there are some cabins so exclusive many don't even know they exist. But how do people travel like this in times like these? For many luxury travellers, the key is having your money work for you, even when you're on the road. A stock portfolio, second property, brokerage account, you name it. But whatever your plan is, this year has been incredibly challenging, to say the least.
Now it is basically time for dinner, so let's go and get changed. And there we go, much better. Right, with that and being the fact I'm hideously late, let's go and grab some dinner.
I'll leave my make-up room sign outside my door, as well I need my room to be converted into its night setting. Dinner is served back in the Platinum dining car, and again, instead of a two-person seat, I'm asked if I mind sitting next to another couple. Of course I've got no problem, I love meeting new people. Right, let's take a look at dinner tonight. I'm kind of hoping it's a little more filling than lunch. And as if by magic, yes, it very much is. Now to start things off properly, let's crack open another bottle of Bolly. Fantastic. For appetiser, we're presented with king prawns on citrus aioli. Now for entrees. There's a benefit with sitting with others, as I get to see a variety of the other menu options. One of our dining party went for the cheese souffle, whilst I instead opt for the kangaroo loin, something I've never tried before, but hey, let's dive in. It's a gamey meat, super tender and utterly delicious. I'm told you have to be quite careful cooking it, not that I'm going to make it back home. In due course, mains are served. I instead go for the roast lamb rump served with baby potatoes. It is phenomenal.
Woo, that looks good, man. I wanna eat some kangaroo.
There are of course two dessert options, one being a frozen honey parfait and my selection of the salted caramel pudding, both of course getting rave reviews from our table. With that and feeling significantly more satisfied than lunch, let's head back to my room.
Welcome back to my room. You're gonna want to see over here.
That's pretty damn nice for a train.
I think it is time to change out of this, get into some pajamas. Unfortunately, I didn't see any dressing gowns here, which is a shame because I feel that would be a lovely touch. But need not worry, I have got my NASA pajamas.
A few minutes later.
So there's me just about to go and get my teeth brushed when I spy.
What a lovely nightcap surprise. Yeah, sorry about that.
Liqueur.
As I sit here and drink my delicious Baileys, well, I say drink, it's gone. I've discovered that there are also, I mean, seriously?
After seeing these non-ensuite rooms down train earlier, it sure is nice having this luxury. Right, let's see how this bed stacks up to the competition. First impressions are fantastic. Let's see how I feel in the morning, hey?
The next day.
I'm awoken at 5 AM by a knock at my door, albeit a requested wake-up call for the sunrise. This is far too early for my liking, although I did sleep really well. The bed gets a thumbs up from me. Let's get those Tims on then, and venture down train. We've arrived at our first stop, however we have certain priorities.
Yeah, honestly, I do the wake up call too to see that Australian sunrise. Hell yeah.
Much better. Honestly, you know that feeling when the first sip of coffee touches your soul? Freshly caffeinated, let's get off train and see where we've ended up during my slumber. How cute is this? Lanterns lining the path adjacent to the train. Okay, let's head to the campfire to warm up. I guess also it's a welcome to Marla, population of just 100. Thankfully, we don't need to wait too long in the cold before night begins to merge into morning. As we wait for the sun to crest on the horizon, I'm going to take full advantage of the breakfast snacks on offer. A cheese scroll or bacon butty. I think you know which one I've gone for.
Well, this is pretty special. It's moments like this that the sort of travel really comes into its own. When else would you realistically be out in the middle of the outback, wake up in an air-conditioned, comfortable double bedroom, get off a train, cup of coffee, bacon butty, and watch the sunrise in the outback? It really is the stuff of dreams.
It's time to get back.
Well, that really was beautiful. As you've heard, the train horn has gone, so as much as I love it here, I don't really want to be stranded in the outback for the next couple of days before the next train comes past.
Given a proper brunch will be served a little later, I think it's a perfect time to try out the shower. As you've seen briefly, it's a solid ensuite offering. most importantly, is the water hot? Well, it sure is. It's exactly what I needed. An 8 out of 10 shower. As promised, brunch is to be served in the dining car. I'm surprised to find it pretty much deserted, but I guess many don't have jet lag on their side and have opted instead to return to bed. We'll kick proceedings off with a coffee in the Platinum Lounge car. I want to take full advantage of that espresso machine. It's a lovely vantage point to hang out and watch the world go by. Though, as stated, it is pretty quiet in here. So let's head over for brekkie then. And this time, it's a table for two. Well, one.
I saw that, guys.
Let's head over for brekkie then. And this time...
What's that right there? What's that right there? Oh.
It's a table for two. Well, one. A stellar selection of breakfast treats. Do let me know what you'd go for down below. Of course, for those wanting something a little stronger, Bollinger can also be served with your breakfast. Though, to be honest, I don't really have the appetite for this morning. Instead, I'm served a fresh apple juice, which I'm happy to announce is not from concentrate. Always a good sign. And within a few minutes, my healthy breakfast is served. I've gone for the grilled halloumi with avocado and kale. It was absolutely delicious. Now, to balance out the healthy, let's have an Australian tradition. This, to those not familiar, is Vegemite, and I'm a huge fan. Served with butter on hot fresh toast, it's a winner. Though to be fair, it's like the British version, Marmite.
Okay, we have to talk about something here. So my reactions to Vegemite may seem a bit unwelcome by some of you because you're like, well, you haven't tried it. And you're right, I haven't tried Vegemite. However, I have tried Marmite, and I've heard that they're pretty similar, guys. Let's be honest here. So if they're not similar, let me know in the comments, and I will find myself some Vegemite, and I'll make a video of me trying Vegemite. But I know, and I know it's supposed to be a thin layer. Trust me, I know. But man, it's salty. Doesn't have much else to it, just salt.
You either love it or hate it.
I hate it.
Now, there is a breakfast dessert, but having got a little carried away with the Vegemite, I think we'll leave that for the moment. Back in my room, I think it's time to take full advantage of having a dual aspect suite. Yes, I am exposed to my neighbours should they decide to walk past a breakfast, but hey, at least I'm decent. It's honestly one of the most relaxing things, laying on a plush bed, looking out over the outback as the world flies by. So the elephant in the room, the cost. This experience is not cheap. Now, as I'm travelling solo, I managed to get a single traveller discount, but it still comes in at 5,755 Australian dollars. To do the full route of the Ghan to Darwin was nearing $9,000, which was a cost I couldn't quite swallow. Having now tried the Indian Pacific, I'd certainly do the full route, but in the single gold class in a heartbeat, as that's at a far more reasonable 2,760 Australian dollars. With that, I make it time to get packed up, as Alice Springs is just a few miles away. Welcome to Alice Springs, the very centre of Australia. What an incredible journey that was. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me. Do let me know what you think down in the comments below. But with that, I'll catch you all again next time.
That's where that big rock is. Is that in that's the Northern Territory, but that's Alice Springs, I guess. But yeah, I really enjoyed that video. It seems like I'm gonna have to look at a bunch of different alternatives for travel when I'm in Australia, but you know, train is certainly an option. I don't know if I can afford the first class, but maybe the single one would be feasible. Anyways, guys, let me know what you thought about the Ghan. If anyone's been on the Ghan before, let me know. And what was it called? The Indian Pacific or something like that? We'll check out that other train too. I know there was multiple trains. If you look at the introduction, actually, this board right here,
where we're going to be catching.
So you got the Overland, Great Southern, Indian Pacific, and the Ghan. So those are all the big trains through Australia. So yeah, really, really interesting. We got to check them all out. But yeah, guys, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I'm going to catch you all in the next one.